It is true that my father was a sharecropper, a tenant farmer. But back in 1944, when I was 4 years old, and I do remember when I was 4, my father had saved $300. And with the $300, he bought 110 acres of land. And on this land, we raised a lot of cotton and corn and peanuts, hogs, cows, and chickens. Lynn would tell you that it was my responsibility to care for the chickens. Those chickens, along with my sisters and brothers, my mothers and my father, my grandparents, and my great-grandparents, taught me something about forgiveness. Now, you don't believe chicken can teach you something? Well, you don't know anything about raising chicken. But I used to talk to these chickens. And as a matter of fact, I used to preach to some of them. And they would bow their heads, some of them would shake their heads. They never quite said amen. But I'm convinced, Lynn, that some of those chickens tended to listen to me much better than some of our colleagues listen to us today in the Congress. And some of those chickens were just a little more productive. At least they produce eggs. Well, that's enough of that. When I was growing up outside of Troy and would visit the little town of Troy, visit Montgomery, Tuskegee, Nashville, where I went to school, I saw those signs that said white men, colored men, white women, colored women, white waiting. As a young child, I tasted the bitter fruits of segregation and racial discrimination, and I didn't like it. I would ask my mother, ask my father, other members of my family, why segregation? Why racial discrimination? And they would say, that's the way it is. Don't get in the way, don't get in trouble. But one day I heard about Rosa Parks. I heard the words of Martin Luther King Jr. on an old radio. We're preaching the philosophy of nonviolence, peace, love, and reconciliation. And a few years later, I met Rosa Parks in 1957 when I was 17, and met Dr. King the next year in 1958, the age of 18. And I got involved. I got in the way. I got in trouble. It was good trouble. It was necessary trouble. For more than 50 years, I've been getting in trouble. And I'm still getting in trouble with your congressperson land. So on the Freedom Rides, 48 years ago, May 9th, 1961, a few pounds lighter, had all my hair, 21 years old, arrived in Rock Hill, South Carolina. My seatmate, a young white gentleman, the two of us tried to enter the so-called white waiting room. And we were attacked by Mr. Wilson and a few others. But we have been taught the philosophy of nonviolence, of love. We've heard the words of Gandhi saying there's a choice between nonviolence and non-existence. We've heard the words of Martin Luther King Jr. We must learn to live together as brothers and sisters, or we'll perish as fools. There's something so powerful about love. So today, I said to my friend and brother, Mr. Wilson, as I said to him a few months ago, I forgive you. I don't have any ill feelings, malice against anyone. I got arrested 40 times during the 60s. Beaten and left bloody, not just in Rock Hill in May of 61, but also in Montgomery at the Greyhound bus station. Left bloody and unconscious, had a concussion at the bridge in Selma in 65. But I don't hate. Hate is too heavy a burden to bear. When Mr. Wilson came to visit me, for me personally, it was so powerful, a display of forgiveness, reconciliation, and love in action. And I said then that the action of this man, this one man, may inspire others to rise up and say, I'm sorry, will you forgive me? And since Mr. Wilson's visit in Washington to meet with me, I've had people all over the country and around the world saying they're so deeply moved and touched by his example. So let's keep it going, Bob. Let's spread the word. Lynn, let's create a national day. Let's introduce a resolution in the Congress to create a national day. Let's make it happen.